it is my distinct privilege to be speaking with Aloun Assamba. It's like I think I've known you forever, you know.
It feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I associate you with
From when you
Monique.
had here.
Huh?
From when you had here.
From then, absolutely. I associate you with as somebody closer linked to Monique. You
Yes.
know, when I used to live in St. Anne,
Yes.
not too far from you and all of
Not
that.
far, not far. Yes,
But
yes.
then I associate you just strongly with the credit union movement.
Yes.
How long? How many years? How far do you go back with the credit union movement?
Oh Lord, let me tell you. When I left high school and before I went to university, I volunteered at the Kingston Legal Aid Clinic, which was on Spanish Town Road. And Mr. Paul Chavans, who, and I'm talking about 1974 now, eh?
Yes.
And Mr. Paul Chavans was the manager of COK at the time. COK was a young credit union at the time. And we used to collect. We were kind of like an outpost of COK down at Spanish Town Road at the Legal Aid Clinic. So I joined I joined COK then, and I used to save out of the little, let me call it pittance.
Pittance. That's the word you're looking for, yes.
Because when I think about it, it was really volunteer work, and at the time the clinic was, those of us who worked there were either from Alpha or St. George's, to tell you the truth, and it's Ronnie Thwaites who had started the clinic.
Yes.
No, then I got into university, and I knew I was going to be not earning for what, 5 years at least. So I took my money out of the credit union, to tell you the truth, and I closed my account and I went off to Cave-Hill, and then I came back, and the first paycheck I got as a lawyer, I went back to COK. I remember it was what people would call a red letter day. I parked the car across the road at Courts.
Yes.
Went over to COK, joined the credit union, put the money in, and borrow it back same time.
You know, that is something that I have been teaching people for 20 odd years. I said, if you're going to buy something from Courts, when you go down, go to the left side first.
Yes.
And put the money there.
Yes.
And then borrow within shares and go across the right side. And by way, you'll find yourself that you'll save back the money, because if you don't.
This is the truth.
Yeah.
Because what it meant, like him, is that I put in $500 and I borrowed it back, because my brother had wanted money to fix his car. And Ben Grant, who was the manager at the time, says to me, Aloun, come bring the money, come into COK. What is wrong with you? And I lend you back. So I walked out of the credit union with the $500. I walked across the road to my car, and a car was coming down the road and it hit me.
Oh, you can't forget that. You can't forget.
I'm telling you, it was, as I say, a red letter day. So I joined the credit union then. By now I was a lawyer, and I then volunteered to be part of what they call the delinquency committee at the time. And I worked on the delinquency committee for a while, and I go to the board, I go to the annual general meeting, and I get up and talk. And when a space became available on the board, I was invited to the board. And that would have been like in 1980. I became a lawyer in 81. So by 83, 84, I was on the board of COK. And then COK at the time was a small organization. We had about 35,000 members. I remember that figure very well, because it was 35,000 when I joined the staff of COK on January 3rd, January 3rd, 1988. And it had 140,000 members when I left in 2001 to go into politics full time. So I have been with COK from I left law school, which was 1981.
Yes. No, man, it's a serious part of your life.
It is a serious part of my life. And I sometimes feel that I dream, I sleep, dream, eat credit union, but more specifically COK.
And rightfully so, you know, because I think Jamaica is a different realm regarding the credit union compared to the rest of the Caribbean. Because I've had the privilege to work around the region and done work for other credit unions. And I mean, in Trinidad, credit union is like the stepchild, you know. But Jamaica, I've seen people move between banking, insurance, and credit union back and forth and back and forth. We don't see that in the other regions.
Well, the truth is that we have, as a movement, we have fought for our space, you know, and I keep saying to the leaders of the movement, 1 in 3 Jamaicans are a member of a credit union. Can you believe that? 1 in 3, it's probably more now. And at first we used to have a lot more credit unions. We're now down to probably 2021.
With the amalgamation and the, yes.
Right, yeah. with a lot of mergers and amalgamation, because in anticipation of being regulated by the Bank of Jamaica, there is this view that Bank of Jamaica doesn't want to be regulated more than about 12 or so.
But I'm one of those, you know, who believe that the credit union has a totally different purpose and flavor. And you can't become, as, pardon the expression, as constipated as the banks are. You know, you have a special role to play and you've been doing it very well.
Well, the truth is, you remember that the credit unions came about, not just in Jamaica, but even more so in Jamaica, as a response to ordinary people not being able to enter the financial market. And in those days in Jamaica, there was something called usurers.
Oh God, hello.
We call them something else these days, eh?
No, it's still it's a nice word. We call them loan shark, but usurer is the technical term, yes.
That is what it was. And credit unions developed in response to that because they charged exorbitant interest rates, just like what is happening now, you know. And people couldn't keep up. They would borrow and couldn't keep up with their payments, as is happening now. And so the credit union movement, John Peter Sullivan, who was a Jesuit priest working at St. George's College, started a class, so to speak, of about 12 men. There were men, eh? People like G. Arthur Brown, who was governor of the Bank of Jamaica. Yeah. People like, people like, oh, I'm forgetting some of them, but I really should remember the names of these people. But they started meeting and learning about unions, and they used to ride bicycles all over Jamaica to talk about credit unions. And so the credit unions were formed. So it is an organization which is a cooperative. It is owned by the people who save in it, which means that everything goes back to the members. There's no group of shareholders, which is a few persons. It is the shareholders of the credit unions who own the credit union. And this is something that makes it completely different. And in my role, I am constantly reminding the movement and constantly reminding our staff that our whole purpose is to serve the members.
You know, I want to schedule another discussion with you around just this topic, because I really believe that the growth has been phenomenal, but there's a whole lot more work to be done.
Oh, definitely.
Especially
there's
now.
A lot of work to be done.
So we're gonna talk more about that, and because when the banks had their wobble, you know, not one credit union wobbled.
Exactly.
And the banks took all the various products that the credit union have and run with them, and the credit unions could have gone for the jugular. But I guess you all don't have the killer instinct. But no, we can help you all to get that. Jamaica need the credit union, because I'll tell you a quick story. I do a lot of work with redundancies. I remember when I did the redundancy for Hamden Sugar Estate, I normally invite the financial institutions in the proximity to the organization. Huh? Invite them in to talk about what they can do with the workers. And I remember a gentleman from one of the prominent banks, I won't call the name so as to protect the ignorant. The man told the man, listen, gentlemen, Jamaican dollar not really worth anything. So my suggestion to you is that the money that you get today, you just bring it to me and I will convert it to US dollars and and we have such a fund and such a fund. And I just signal and call him off the stage. And I say, sir, you see the men in front of you? This is Hamden Sugar Estate, you know. Half of the man them barefoot. I would guess that 3/4 of them they've done the passport. Yeah. And you are tell them that you went take the little money. Well, he saw in the papers this morning that Hamden Estate is getting $90 million. And him saw 30 people in front of him. And him divide 30 into 90 million. So, Mr. Boss, you lick your head. Where does
those 30 people getting the 90 million?
The barefoot cane cutter man there, is them getting 90 million? But I saw it in the papers. I said, boss, nobody go up on the stage, huh? Nobody go up on the stage. Apparently, he was just transferred down there from the office the week before. But even so, you can't so fool. The next person up was somebody from the credit union in Falmouth. And the man said, gentlemen, I was an accountant at this place here, you know. And my first bicycle is the credit union. I buy it through, and it come to the wharf. We used to get just come into the wharf at Falmouth, and it's them get them put the money there. I'm take the money from them. I buy a bicycle. Now I am at the credit union there now. So tell you what, whatever them give you, come talk to me because I know who know. We can make him not say nothing more. That's all. When the man them say, oh, so you wanna win 90 million divided by 30 people, barefoot people. But anyway, we have a lot of work to do. Aloun, Assamba, you're a synonymous credit union and COK. Now, COVID, how was COVID treated? I want to hear you and then you in your managerial role at the credit union. How has it treated you so far?
How has COVID treated me? Well, because I'm over 65, I don't have to say I don't look it. I took the instructions that we must work from home and not be out. In addition to that, while I don't have a lot of medical challenges, I do have asthma. Most of the times I forget it because it's under good management. So I started working from home at the end of March, and I have been working from since then, which tells me one thing: the world has changed. I don't think that, other than my physical presence at COK, I do not think that the organization has suffered because I am working from Moneague rather than at Slight Road. And that is something that I have learned, that with the technology and with the use of technology and having like Zoom or GoToMeetings or those opportunities, the only thing is somebody can't just come and sit down in my office and say, Mrs. A, I want to talk to you. But they can call me, or we can do it like this. So that is how it has changed for me. I have been here at home and I have not left this hill more than 4 times since I have come down here in March. Can you imagine?
Isn't it a wonderful feeling to be in a house, on a property, so that when you look outside and go outside, it's a wonderful feeling rather than being in a little apartment in Kingston.
It is true, and I do have a little apartment in Kingston, and the only time I've seen it since then was on Saturday when I ran in there just to look and see what it is like.
Yes.
But I couldn't have done it there. I could not have worked from home there.
Yes.
I must recognize that I am in more than salubrious atmosphere, which lends me to, and the thing is that because even where I am now, I'm looking through the window, I'm looking through the door, the breeze, you know, I live in an old house and the way it's built is that the breeze runs across and down.
Old house on top of a hill.
Yes, so it's quite comfortable. And that is how it has physically, that's been the challenge. Mentally, no, it's a little different because I crave the one-on-one contact with people. I'm lucky that it's a working farm, and so there are people who are here, but I crave the one-on-one contact with friends, with my co-workers and so on. But you know, we do the best that we can. I have worked harder now that I'm working from home than when I'm working in the office. Honestly, I will sit at this computer from 8:30 and all 6 o'clock. I'm still here.
That's one of the dangers of working from home. Somebody can lose track of time.
You lose track of time.
You know,
I will
you realize that you don't even brush your teeth yet.
No. I learned very early in the day that I must get up and get dressed.
Yes.
And sit here because you never can tell. You notice I have on lipstick and earring and all that.
Because you have to present your public self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So but this thing about losing track of time, and the other thing is, and you know my little rant, people seem to think that you're at home twiddling your thumbs.
No, they're nothing. Yeah.
And you have nothing doing. I'm telling you, I don't know. If somebody sends me an email and I don't respond in 5 minutes, I get a call to say, I send you an email and you don't respond.
Yes.
It happened to me just not so long ago. Somebody sent me, I got a call and they said, I sent you an email and I haven't heard anything from you. It was less than 5 minutes. And I'm on holidays and I'm on vacation starting today. But anyway, so that is me personally.
So you are actually in relationship to the COK now, the institution.
Let me tell you something.
How was COVID impacted?
All right. I was watching the COVID from about the whole pandemic from about January and began to think, how are we going to deal with this when it comes? It's not if, when it comes to us. And I have a son who is very forward thinking, and he kept saying, Mom, we have to do this, we have to do that, and so on. So I listened to him. Dominic prepared our house from February in case we were locked down and people needed to have a place like this to stay in, meaning family. And following he started doing the sanitizing and having all of those things prepared. We have bottles, and as somebody comes here, you have to spray and all of that.
Extra toilet paper.
I took that to COK, and we started our planning at COK so that we were well. When there was a shortage of the sanitizers and so on, we didn't have that problem because we had already bought.
Yes.
We have a disaster management committee, and we started meeting to say, this is how we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And we all put in place what we would need to do, who is going to have to work from home. We needed to buy new laptops or computers that people could work from home. We recognize that there might be a challenge with some persons for Wi-Fi. We got the mobile Wi-Fi that they could have to use.
Okay.
So like, for example, here I have 2 sets of Wi-Fi. I have Flow and I also have Digicel. Just in case. Backup, okay? So we put all of those things in place so that when it got to the point where the government now says, listen, we're going to close, people have to work from home, reduce hours and so on. We had all of that done, organized. And we were able to begin the day after the government says, this is what you have to do. We were able to start. And we didn't have to close. We had to close our St. Catherine, meaning Portmore, when the government closed down Portmore.
When the lockdown for
when they locked down Portmore, we closed.
What about the issue of social distancing within the office space and so on? How are you in that?
Well, what we did is that we did staff on a rotation basis, so you didn't have everybody together. And so we looked and we saw, okay, how many tellers could we have on the line, and say it can hold 3 with the necessary spaces? How many people do we have on the front line, who we call the member service officers, and we could have 3, and we allow that. We also got masks very quickly, and the shields, face shields. So because, you know, you have to think about the safety of the staff. And as I'm saying that, you know, I have to use this opportunity to just, to use a Jamaican expression, big up the staff.
Yes.
Because, you know, never once did I have a situation where people said, we're not coming to work. They were saying, what can we do? How can we make sure that we are here to give the service to the members? We had the problem with social distancing, physical distancing outside. It was a challenge. And then in the beginning, people would not listen to what the guards were saying about spacing and so on. But I think over time, people understood necessary. We didn't have much problem with people saying they're not going to use the sanitizer, because we made sure that we had something that was easy on the hands and so on.
And some of them can smell very toxic, you know. So
right,
I guess,
no, but you see, remember, as I was saying to you, we had enough time to prepare ourselves.
Oh, because, you know, usually it's those who get in the just make up one them now that
right.
have the proper feel and
We
smell
had
and so
enough
on.
time. We had enough time to make sure that we were using aloe vera as the base and so on. So, and I think that the members understood that we were trying to keep open, because guess what? We couldn't close, you know. Our members are people who, I mean, come the end of March, when they get paid, they need to get their money.
Yes.
People want, and you know, I want to say this. See, okay, members are still saving. It is, I'm not saying that we're getting as many loans as we would want, but I also understand why people don't want to extend themselves into getting loans. But I would wish they would come in, because we would work with them and see how we can facilitate their needs. But people are still saving. People call, they want to know how to pay their FIP. They want to know how to pay their partner plan. They want to make sure that they can pay their golden harvest. And well, we've had a lot of persons, because we made it very clear that we would consider moratorium for people who were having problems.
How is that going? Are people requesting moratoriums?
Oh, are they requesting moratoriums? They are, and we are facilitating them. Because we recognize that some people, they have either been laid off, or their business has gone down, there's a turn down, or even if some people are still employed, they are earning less than they would normally earn. Some people are on a 3-day work week instead of a 4-day work week, and so on. And so because we're a members organization, we work with the members.
Is there a standard moratorium or a range?
We start off with 3 months.
Yes.
And we review it as it is getting closer to the 3 months. So far we've started, let us say, April, May, June. So most of the moratoriums application that we've got so far would take us until June, but we go 3 months from when we get the application in. So for those people who came in May, it would go May, June, July. And you know, we're not in June yet, but if people still come in June, then it would go June, July, August. So we give 3 months initially, and then we indicate to the member that we will look at your situation and see if we need to do something else. Or, you know, one of the things we're saying to members, for example, about the loan, is that if you had a loan with us and you've paid it down and we have security in place for you, why don't you come in if you're in a situation and borrow back up to your original loan, or borrow something that will allow your repayment to be less.
Yes.
You know, to reduce your repayment. So we are working with the members to see how we can help them. And you know, Lekim, there was a week when we had scare at our Crossroads branch, when a staff member woke up one morning and didn't feel well, and she didn't come in. She went to the doctor. Doctor felt she had symptoms that looked like COVID, sent her to get tested. And once we knew that was a Wednesday, we closed the Thursday and the Friday to do the deep cleaning. And it's the same week when Portmore was closed.
Uh-oh.
Only our halfway tree branch was open. And we only had 5 staff members because, you know, a lot of staff live in St. Catherine.
Absolutely.
Portmore, or all those new housing estates going down on Old Harbor Road and so on. Halfway through, we had 5 staff members, and let me tell you, they served everybody who came.
They rose to the occasion.
They wrote, and I said to them, don't look at the crowd that is outside. Just deal with the person who is in front
of you. Nice strategy.
Who is in front of you is the most important person in the world, because right now, as they're dealing with you, this is the most important thing that they have to do. So you must treat them that way. And let me tell you, the staff rose to the occasion. And thank God it was a scare that we could reopen on Monday. But the other thing that I want to say about my staff is when the Prime Minister announced that St. Catherine was going to be open, I think he announced it the Monday evening or the Tuesday, staff started calling to make sure that we were going to be open on Wednesday because they wanted to go back to work.
Yes.
You know, I really have to take my hat off to the staff because they worked through this thing. They didn't complain and they rose to the occasion.
How is your online capability in terms of how kind of traction you can actually do without having to come into the facility? How are you doing with that?
Well, let me tell you, we had just launched our new website, cokcu.com, and we are seeing a lot of traction on that. One of the things we are doing now is that we're changing our core banking system, and part of that system will allow us to do more online activities.
Yes.
But we're doing some of it now, like transferring and doing payments and so on. So we are doing that. When we are completely online, we have a new loan origination system, which is going to be put up on our website. Then you can make your application online.
Yes.
It is now being tested, and you can make your application online. So these are all plans that we were working on.
Yes.
To put in place. And in fact, we should have done our crossover to our new core banking system this weekend. Unfortunately, the providers are in Canada and they have to be here when we are doing the conversion.
Right.
So we have had to put that off because they couldn't come. They would have to come, and well, no flights are coming in, so they couldn't come in.
And then when they do, have to quarantine for 14 days.
We have to quarantine them and all of that. So it should have been done this weekend coming, and we have to put it off until, hopefully we'll be able to do it at the end of July. And then that will now allow us to do everything that a member might need to do. But one of the things that we're discovering is that more and more people are using our social media platform, our online facilities to do their business.
If we look at now COVID and beyond, because there's no after COVID, because my understanding is the next 12 to 18 months will be in variations of what we're doing now. How do you see your institution, your sector, the next 12 to 18 months?
Well, let me tell you, one of the things that I've been saying, because I've been on the radio quite a few times, just talking to our members and saying, you know, this is what we're in. Remember that there is life that's going to have to continue. So you need to keep savings. You need to make sure that you keep your credit rating up to date. Now, that is one of the things why we have to put in the moratorium, because you don't want people's credit rating
to damage their credit,
adversely affected. And if you get the moratorium, then it won't, you will be covered.
Yes.
What it is doing for us, it has proven that not everybody needs to be in the physical space to work.
Mm-hmm.
There are some jobs that you have to have the one-on-one face-to-face discussion. There are some jobs that need that, but there's a lot of what we do that can be done off-site.
Yes,
and it is something that we all have to learn and to just know that it's a different way of doing things. One of the things we've not been able to do is we have business development officers who go out to firms and who go out to schools and go out to communities to take the credit union business to them.
Yes.
They've not been able to do that because of the physical distancing rules. That is an area that we have to figure out how we're going to deal with that going forward. We also have, for example, I mean, you've come to COK's AGM, where we would have 400 people in a room. We can't do that.
Yes, yes.
So our AGM, we're going to have to now look at how do we have our annual general meeting. And just this morning,
a webinar, you know,
we have to do it that way. So we are exploring the opportunities that exist for us to have it that way, with the recognition that that not everybody is going to be online. But the truth is that almost everybody has a cell phone.
You see, well, recently I did a presentation for the JTA, and we had 10 people in the room, but we had 300 on Zoom and another 250 on Facebook Live.
Yes.
So when you combine Zoom and Facebook Live, everybody have phone, everybody have, say, Facebook, you can get to a lot of people. Yes.
And but remember, in our case, it's not just, it has to be interactive, eh?
Exactly. But you can do that still.
And this is what we are now exploring. And so I've been having discussions with the registrar of cooperative societies about how to go forward.
Yes.
And I think that this is one of the things that well, COK has always, ever since I went back to COK, we started to do our meetings so that members could be in the Mandeville branch or in the Mobay branch.
And they could participate.
And they could participate. So we started doing that, but they were together. So you would have 50 people in Mobay or 50 people in Mandeville, which we can't do now. So we've been streaming live our AGM and streaming it live on Facebook. And I remember last year people were commenting about what was happening in the meeting from as far as Atlanta and New York and so on. So
more so than when you saw the people in the auditorium.
Exactly. So more people were seeing it. We need now to formalize that. So that, I think, is one of the things going forward. The other thing is, we have to find a way as a movement to be able to get the diaspora, our diaspora Jamaicans, more involved. I get a lot of requests from people who are in the diaspora who want to join COK.
Yes.
My first question to them always is, do you have a local Jamaican address and do you have a TRN?
Yes, yes.
You know, you have to do that, because with the Proceeds of Crime Act that we now have, this whole issue of knowing your member, knowing your customer, is an important part of what we have to satisfy the regulators for. It's a big part of the risk assessment that we have to do as an organization. And so that is something that we have to look at. How do we involve people, especially now that we will have the facility to do more online business?
Yes.
How do we get those persons into the net? The other thing that we have to do is, and I know you're going to ask another question, but I want to just say this. The credit union will only grow and survive if we are able to bring in more young people. And being able to do business online is something that the millennial, if I use that expression, or Generation Y, they want to do their business online. Which is one of the reasons why we are to be doing that.
We're reaching Gen Z now, so all right, so you need to go further.
Yeah, YZ, there you go. So this has forced us to come into the space where we use more technology in delivering the service. Yeah.
So what it sounds like, is that one, you anticipated the changes. You have handled it well, both personally and as an institution, and that the future, there's really no fear.
I don't have any fear of the future at all. I think it is very bright. I think that there are great opportunities for us, and we are prepared to move it and to get going. I mean, yesterday, you know, we had a board meeting yesterday, and we've been having our board meetings online since March.
Yes.
And the only difference is that it is earlier in the day and we're while the meeting is going on.
And people don't spend a whole lot of time getting refreshments.
Yeah, you know. One of our board members said, last night, jokingly said, "But my God, not even a piece of cake we get."
Exactly. Tell you what, next board meeting, you put a nice spread of cake next to you. And every now and then turn the camera and show it, you know. And then as you eat one, tell, I'm eating that one for you. And I'll have one for you.
Yes. But there are some opportunities, because I mean, let me face it, when we have our annual general meeting, which we are going to have online, it's just a matter now of tying that up. We're not going to have the cost of going to the Seabed Authority.
Exactly.
And we're not going to have the cost of feeding 400. I know it sounds bad, but
it's reality. The reality.
So it is a saving for us.
Yes.
Because an AGM could cost us $6 million.
Interesting times are there.
Yes,
well,
very
listen,
much so.
This was a wonderful conversation. I'm really happy to hear, you know, the process, because we're hearing so much doom and gloom. And clearly you have handled it personally well. The organization has handled it well, and the future is looking good. And I do believe there's still more work. And the credit union is a very relevant institution, and it still needs to sell itself even more so now, and even now, not just the generation Y, but Z. They need to start understanding why it's important that once you start to earn some money, you need to have a credit union account.
Well, you know, we start them before, you know, from there in high school.
Yes.
And kindergarten. We have different programs. We have something called COK Cares. Children are really enthusiastic savers. We've not done well in the last couple of months because the schools have been closed.
Yes.
But we do have 20, I can tell you the figure because we have to report it at the board meeting. We have over 26,000. In other countries, they call them junior members, but we call them cares. We have 26,000 cares members.
Nice.
And they would convert to being adult members when they become 18 years old.
Sounds great. And I hope this kind of, not just the COVID infection, I hope your own enthusiasm and what COK is doing can also infect the rest of Jamaica, as we move forward into this new era.
Definitely.
Aloun, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And you can call me again, you know. And
Absolutely.
And I might go watch a little Netflix when I'm finished.
We understand. We definitely understand.
Okay.
You take care. This was wonderful.
Okay, Lakim. Bye-bye.